Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I'm Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
All right, and it's been a little bit of time, So
Yeah.
Had a bit of a hiatus.
yeah, nothing wrong with that. So
Yeah.
I guess before we start talking about these lovely little pictures, have you guys watched anything recently that you want to talk about?
This has been a month. Watched quite a bit, so
Yeah, I watched a few things.
Okay.
I guess I'll mention Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yep,
Nice.
saw that as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's really good.
Loved it. It
Yeah.
was so good. Yeah, and the next day I watched Strange. What's his Strange Man? Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
Oh,
So 2 multiverse movies in 2 days. It was pretty fun.
excellent.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, saw that one as well.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I haven't seen either one of those yet, but
Good. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Definitely my favorite of the year so far.
Oh yeah, no competition. It was really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely
Matrix vibes too. A lot of Matrix vibes for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Somebody told me that it felt like a new Matrix movie or something like that. And I was
Yep.
like, oh, cool. That sounds
It
good.
definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah. The action scenes look interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see that, but I did see the new Alex Garland movie. So,
Men.
yeah,
I want to see that.
I've heard
Looks
mixed things.
you've heard mixed things, like some people love it and some people hate it type of
Yeah.
thing. All right. Yeah, I mean, I like Alex Garland as a director, and I was interested in seeing this, and I didn't really like Annihilation, to be honest, just because the setup was really interesting, and but then when it once it had twists and stuff, it kind of lost me. Like, I don't know. Annihilation, I wasn't very satisfied with, but Ex Machina, of course, is great. So, but Men, I thought it sucked. Honestly, I really didn't like it.
Damn.
I'm sorry to say, I like the way it starts out, like the opening scene. It feels like an opening scene I've already seen, and I'm not going to spoil the movie or anything like that, but just it started off like it could be bad, it could be good, and I thought that it was going to go in an interesting direction. And Jessie Buckley is a brilliant actor, and she does a great job in it. Like, she's definitely my favorite part of the film. But I don't know anything about her character at all. Like, she's like a blank slate almost, which it made it hard for me to kind of feel invested. And then everything that happens in it, I was like, I don't know, it just got really dumb and repetitive, and it kind of felt like a joke almost. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be like a practical joke or something. I don't know. It was really weird. You'd have to watch it to understand what I mean. I can imagine some people kind of appreciating it, but I don't know, it kind of frustrated me,
Mhm.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people liked it until the very end. Apparently crazy shit happens at the end.
I was disappointed with the ending, because the problem is that it kind of ends in a similar way as that movie Society, but I kind of felt like Society did that ending way better.
Still gotta see that one too.
Yeah, I mean, Society isn't really a good movie either, but I think that was more shocking to me, the way it unfolded in that. This film sort of has kind of a similar structure as Society. It's like the almost like the Anita Bryant version of Society almost. And or not Anita Bryant, Andrea, whatever. I can't remember what her name is, but it kind of reminds me of like that kind of thing. I don't know. I just didn't like it. It was really weird.
Damn.
Wow.
Looks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Give it a shot. A lot of people seem to see something that I don't.
Yeah. It's A24, so stuff's always going to be divided.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't liked every A24 film, but
I've liked
yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most are good.
They don't always miss, but anyway, go on.
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of shitty endings, Ozark I finished.
Oh.
The final.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. I loved the series in general, but like the ending was real bad in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fell flat real hard, and like the last scene was just so bad. And I don't know. I feel like they could have benefited from a fifth season because it's just shit went like the first part, like they split it up into parts. The first part was pretty good or really good in my opinion, and then the second part just kind of snap went real fast, threw a lot of shit at the wall, and then ended with a really bad dumb ending, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think they may have wanted a fifth season, which they could have spread like the second half over and made stuff make a little bit more sense and coherent, but
Yeah.
unfortunately it ended horribly.
So
Yeah.
frustrating.
They definitely needed a little more.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna brace myself.
It's really good overall, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall it's
they
really
just
good.
didn't stick the landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stranger Things that came out and was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like how they're splitting up seasons now.
I hate it. They need to stop it. I honestly even wouldn't mind just them going back to Netflix doesn't really do it, but the one episode a week thing.
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I
Like they
kind
got
of prefer it.
Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus right now. They do it weekly.
Yeah, like The Boys, I think does it mostly weekly, maybe 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, they
It has
premiered
been, but
premiered with 3, and then now it's weekly for the rest of the season.
Pretty
is the
convenient
third
way to
season
do it.
out yet, or is it just?
Yeah, it just came out.
Shit, I didn't even know. I thought it was coming out. Okay,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
awesome. We got to get that.
Well, I haven't finished the new season of Stranger Things yet, but I'm going through it and I am enjoying it very much. I actually think it's better than the second and third season, I would say.
Definitely,
So far.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think my opinion is it's the best since the first for sure, and I love how it's pretty dark and gory.
Yeah, I love the gore. You know?
Yeah.
I like
I
how
mean,
they. No, go ahead.
I mean, all the seasons are pretty gory, but this one is definitely the goriest. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What were you saying?
I like how they split everyone up this season. Like got the different storylines going.
Yeah, I usually don't like that, but they made it work well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people complain like, "Oh, there's too many people." I'm like, haven't watched Game of Thrones then, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what like the Duffer Brothers said. This is their Game of Thrones season. Well, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, it jumps back and forth between like so many different kind of things. It's like a sort of a detective situation, and then you have another character who's literally trying to like survive for against like a lynch mob, and then like or a witch hunt, and then you have like a Russian prison story, and it's like
Yeah, it's cool.
but it all kind of flows really well. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
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 Gotta wait till next month though to finish it.
Yeah, it's only 2 episodes too, but I guess they're like 2.5 like movie length episodes, like 2 hours long.
I think it'll work.
I think so.
But cool. Anything else you guys want to? Oh, I should mention. Today I did see. I saw the new Cronenberg movie.
How's that?
The one with Kristen Stewart in it?
Yeah, And I think Viggo Morton. I think that was Viggo Mortensen. Yeah, that was Viggo Mortensen.
The one where everyone walks out in.
I mean, it it was kind of. I mean, I'm sort of. It left me a little bit dazed. It definitely like Cronenberg in like anthropological mode rather than in like the usual type of like, you know, twisted visceral type. I mean, it is twisted and visceral for sure, but much more like in the psychological vein. Like there are definitely some pretty intense scenes for sure. There's definitely one moment that was a bit like, oh man, like, I mean, I definitely understand like what this is supposed to mean though, you know. It's not my favorite of his, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I would recommend it, and I would watch it again. I think, just because it was kind of interesting. Like it's really more of like a lot of world building, and then you know only like about 2 or 3 things ultimately happen in it. A lot of the things that are going on in it kind of seem irrelevant mostly, but at the same time they do kind of add a little bit more to the atmosphere. Like there's a lot of mood pieces, like mood set pieces and stuff. I don't know, it's creative. I'm still kind of processing it though.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that scene that everyone walks out in apparently, because it's gross or some shit. I don't know.
I mean,
Do you know the scene they're talking about, or?
I mean, it could be. Well, I'm speculating. There's at least 2 or 3 scenes that it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there were only about 3 scenes in the movie that were messed up, but all 3 scenes were pretty messed up. And so I don't know which scene it would have been the one that
I assume it's the
walk out
first
with.
one, is what I gathered from what they're saying. Whatever one
It
comes
does.
first.
Yeah, it definitely, the opening scene will definitely have some people running for the exit. It's a pretty, like, it is a pretty shocking way to open a movie, you know. It's almost like Alfred Hitchcock, let's just clear out the audience now, you know. Let's just just immediately open a movie with a woman getting assaulted, you know, and then the audience walks out, you know, or something like that. That's what Alfred Hitchcock did. I'm not saying that's how Crimes of the Future opens it, but it does open in a shocking way. So.
Nice.
All right. So let's discuss these 3, because we decided to, you know, take another chance at the Tubi roulette.
Yeah. Gave us a nice assortment, you know.
Yeah.
Completely different genres throughout, and times, whatever they call eras. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suspense in it, you know, because you could get something that's incredible, or you could get something that's just like completely worthless. And it's, you know, it could be one or the other. It's never clear what you might get. A airplane versus volcano, you might get, you never know. So but you know, you chose to play it first, Zach, right? And yes. And which movie did you land on?
I landed on The Dark, 1979.
70s movie. We don't watch a lot of those, you know?
Yeah.
So 70s movies, you know, apparently those were the most honest years in filmmaking, at least in American cinema. So
Yeah, some good stuff. But I don't think, have we done one? Maybe one.
we did an Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
Yeah.
I think that was the 70s movie.
When did Fritz the Cat come out?
The 70s.
Okay.
Looks like
that was one then too.
So we've done a couple then.
Yeah. There's been a few, but I think we've mostly done 80s and 90s. So.
Yeah, that's the best era for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so this one, The Dark, 1979.
Yeah. So it doesn't have a plot summary. But,
oh, okay. Well, doesn't really have much of a plot.
No. I was honestly pretty bored of falling asleep on this one.
Me too. because this is the first one I watched as well. Because the reason why I was, late today is just because I mistimed it and I was like, oh shit, I have to watch all three today. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this one first. I was like, oh, I might be in trouble.
Yeah, this one was kind of tough to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Well,
me
I
at
mean,
least. But
well, I mean,
Me too. No, me too.
I mean, how would you summarize the plot? Because like, yeah, go on.
it's basically like a detective movie, but with aliens.
Yeah, like
Like a TV. It felt made for TV.
believe it or not, this was originally supposed to be directed by Toby Hooper.
Yeah, apparently
And
he was fired.
yeah, I guess for some reason, like the studio decided they like halfway through, or maybe even a quarter of the way through filming, they decided they wanted to make an alien movie instead of a serial killer movie. Like originally, I guess it was supposed to be like a modern day, like 70s, like what the 70s equivalent would be of like a movie like Maniac or Nightmare in a Damaged Brain or something like that, like a movie about like a Jack the Ripper type of, or New York Ripper type of character going around bumping people off or decapitating people, which is why the death scenes and the way that the detectives describe the murders is really inconsistent. But you can keep going if you want. Like,
We're talking about. It was also produced by Dick Clark.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck is he doing with it? The opening credits. Like, Dick Clark, what? Huh? What are we watching here?
yeah.
I had to make sure it was that Dick Clark. Like, yep, sure is.
Right. And I almost thought initially I almost thought one of the characters was the old man from The Christmas Story. But
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, Dick Clark, maybe it is him. But the movie was hard to see, so I couldn't really tell. It sounded like him and kind of looked like him, but I IMDb'd it. It wasn't him.
Yeah, it was so dark.
It was dark. Yeah, it was hard to see shit.
Like,
That's the reason they called it the dark.
It has to be.
Well, what was interesting though about it was that the scenes at night when it was dark, like it made sense, but it's also dark on the inside. Like the interiors of the movie look like garbage, and it's just kind of interesting, like how even the indoor sets are underlit. I just, for some reason they really wanted to emphasize the dark. Like they didn't want the movie to just be dark. They wanted it to look dark.
Yeah, and like when the creature was attacking people, it would have it like whispering of the darkness, the dark, the darkness, like an ominous music with some whispering. Little on the nose.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, like I guess all right, the basic plot. What would you say? Like, is it just, I don't know. Go on.
Detective story about a killer alien that that kills people with so he either rips their faces off or shoots them with his laser eyes, which is a hilarious explosion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think if I were to describe it like the Death Star explosion, like that kind of like. Yeah,
I laughed at every death scene in this movie. But the death scenes were my favorite part, actually.
The ones you can see.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like a black screen with a little bit of color in it.
Well, even when you couldn't see them, they were still funny. Like, okay, so, all right, so yeah, basically, the detectives are supposed to be trying to track down this. It's supposed to be like a Jack the Ripper type of killer, except it's really an alien who is either going around zapping laser beams at people, which then results in a hilarious superimposed explosion over the people's heads, or he decapitates them. The detectives are supposed to be, looking for the guy, but they end up mostly just having a dick measuring contest throughout pretty much the whole film. And like not much else happens. They're clumsy, they're stupid, they constantly make mistakes. they draw these absurd conclusions again and again, which somehow put them closer on the trail of the killer. I don't understand that. You don't even know who any of the victims are. Like, you never meet any of them. They're just random people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closest connection we have is the daughter of that one main character, but we never really met her. We just know that this guy's daughter was killed by him.
Yeah. And then there's one scene, okay, or maybe I think this happened in this movie, or am I going crazy? Because I admittedly I kind of started falling
With
asleep
that
too.
the red-haired lady, that scene.
There wasn't. Was that a dream?
It felt like it.
Like, did he dream that he was a lady being chased by a killer alien that zapped his head off? Because like when he woke up, he was holding onto his neck, like, like,
I didn't even know who that was. That like the main actor in the beginning that was talking to the psychiatrist or the psychic, I mean?
I'm not
No
sure who that
idea.
was. None of these people had.
Oh, it was because it was looking for an actor at some point, and that was the actor.
That was what they were doing for most of the movie. Like that one, like in the beginning, there was an actor that was talking to a psychic that said she saw him die or something like that, and she told the police, "You got to go look for that actor."
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't really see much of throughout the whole movie until I think the end.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of actors, this movie has a pretty good cast. I mean, although I got to say, Willem Devine, like his hair, oh, I hope that was a wig. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I didn't. What was his character?
Well, I thought he was.
He was like an author or something.
I thought that he was supposed to be an expert on something, but they never really kind of made it all that clear.
Which guy was he?
The guy with the longer hair and the sunglasses.
The one that had the daughter?
I think so.
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was really upset. Like he wanted the alien to pay.
And he was the one that like teamed up with the journalist down the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was the guy with the daughter that was the first kill, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was like a professor, or I don't know.
I don't know. I wrote him down as like a private eye detective type dude, but not official, just some random dude that did that shit for revenge for his daughter getting murdered.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a revenge story, basically.
For him, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, for him. Not so much for everybody else. I mean, everybody else pretty much just argues, contradicts each other. Just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
They like steal a newspaper from a little person at one point.
Yeah, it was like saying it was a zombie.
Yeah.
The newspaper said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, oh, what?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, actually, I was about to talk about the ending, so you can say what you're gonna say because I don't want to.
Yeah, wasn't the whole psychic thing like?
Oh yeah.
Like she saw a reflection of him, and then her house got trashed. I didn't understand what happened there.
I don't either. She got fucked up too. Like her whole face is all messed up.
Had a stroke, I guess.
Yeah, the demon, or the alien. Okay, that's the thing. It looks like a demon, so it's funny that it's an alien. But yeah, it busts through a window and glass and everything goes flying everywhere. And yeah.
Oh, so that did it. It looks like it just randomly happened, like it was psychic happenings or something. Like you didn't actually see the alien in the house. I think
I missed. Yeah.
Just in the window or something.
Were you asleep during that scene?
I guess.
I mean, I missed the whole thing. I just remember the dude and the news lady showing up to her house all trashed, and she was fucked up. I was like, wait, what happened to her? I don't even remember her getting attacked. What happened? I missed it completely.
Well, The ending, I have to say, I like the ending a lot. The ending pleased me very much. Because basically just everybody gets killed, and then what's his name, Butternut Squash there kills the alien.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the cops were just unloading into him, but he was just shooting lasers at him. There was one really funny laser blow up, like you could see it like superimposed flying to the sky and then just boom and dissolve, like disintegrate.
Yeah, when the superimposed explosion would blow up over people, they would just disappear. Like they would just like blink out of existence.
Sometimes even before the explosion.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of times it looked like the lasers were like slightly to the like left or right missing, but they're still hitting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And also the lasers sometimes didn't even come out of the aliens' eyes. Sometimes they came out of their ears, nose.
Right. They did not really spend time trying to get them right in the right spots.
Even the skin pores, the lasers were coming out of the skin pores of the alien. So funny. Oh my god, I loved it. That ending made the whole movie worth it.
Yeah. And then they just killed it by lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, gun bullets didn't work, but like it was very Frankensteinish because he had like a torch and the monsters were going, and then he just lightly lit it on fire and it disintegrated.
Yeah. That was so stupid. But I still laugh.
Or did he explode? I wrote explode.
He basically he caught on fire and was burning, and then he again just sort of disappeared, and then there was a bunch of explosions that happened at the end for no reason. That was one of them. So yeah. What else happened? The music, music was cool. It was like, I love that kind of like dorky,
decent music. Yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot else.
Not much to say.
Nope.
We had there's Kasem as a something.
I saw him on the cast list. I don't know who he was or where he was, or
I think he was like he's listed as pathologist on the cast list.
Was he the one that was like doing the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like the guy in the car park who was obsessed with jump scares. Like he jump scared that one girl, and then he tried to jump scare the alien. Then he hid in the elevator.
And then the last we saw of him too, he just went to the elevator and presumably got away, because I don't remember him coming up again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we see the back of his head in one scene, but I don't think we see his face again. I don't know. I gotta look for it. Okay, well.
Yep.
Well, overall, what would you give it on a scale of 1 to 5?
I gave it a 1. I mean, the kill scenes in the end was really the only redeeming thing about it. Other than that, it's really fucking boring.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give it a 1 as well. It was super boring. I couldn't see shit at all.
That was another thing.
I couldn't see shit. There's that one, like there's like a guy at a bar that, I don't know, walked out, and then his death scene was literally, I could not see shit. There was just like, I don't know, nothing. It was in like in a dark alley, and then you hear noises and him getting attacked, but it was completely dark. Couldn't see anything. I don't know what happened. Just presumably his head got ripped off, because that's what happens. But couldn't see shit.
Yeah, there was at least one decapitation. I actually didn't mind this movie, to be honest. It kind of reminded me of those stupid detective like mystery movies. Like my grandfather used to he'd rent like 1 or 2 movies whenever he was babysitting me, and it would always be something I'd want to watch and then something he'd want to watch, and he'd always want to watch these ridiculous old detective movies from like the 60s and 70s, and I can't even tell you what most of them were. Like Lady in Cement, I think, was one of them, and they were all so dorky and ridiculous, and I but a part of me still loved them just because like I was kind of curious to see like how it would end and what would happen next. And this movie kind of felt like one of those. Like I hated all the characters. I would have liked all of them to have died if possible. I just was kind of curious to see how many times they would run into miracles. I honestly wasn't bored for a second. Like this movie actually flew by for me. I don't know, maybe I have a high tolerance for garbage, but like
Yeah, it dragged on for me.
Yeah. I can see that if you were like used to watch those kind of movies, like
yeah.
But I can never get into the detective stuff.
Yeah. And admittedly, like if I'd seen this on a bad day, this would have been like to me just pure shit. But honestly, I would watch this again just to watch that ending again. I mean, I know that's crazy, but I actually did kind of enjoy this movie.
It does have a Blu-ray, apparently.
Okay.
Oh, wonder if we can see all that shit that we couldn't see then.
Hopefully.
All right, it has a Blu-ray, so somebody must love it.
It's from MVD.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I mean, they put out. I know they put out something that I was like shocked they even touch.
Put out a bunch of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I don't know.
Oh, great.
Not really good ones.
Yeah. Oh God. I bet one of them was Knockoff.
And I don't think they did that one. 88 Films did that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense because 88 Films, they're into the Sue Hark. That's a Sue Hark movie. I don't get it. Oh, okay. So I guess it's my turn. All right, we're jumping from the 70s to the 90s. With a little Moonbeam production, which Tubi Roulette has rather generously chosen for me. Remote.
Yeah.
It's a kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one I feel like I've seen as a kid, but I'm
Yeah.
still I'm not sure.
I will say this is one that I feel like I saw the trailer for. I will say that much.
It's a pretty generic one, so it's hard
Yeah.
to know.
I may have seen this movie, but I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah.
But I bet you saw quite a number of these old Moonbeam films, though. Like,
Yeah,
because a lot of people did. Like,
they're coming back to me. Like when we watch them, I'm like, this seems really familiar.
that's funny.
Like especially on this one, the bad guys, like just that trio seemed really familiar to me.
Oh yeah, the 3 idiots hanging out in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, but that is again a typical '90s children's movie plot. So
Home Alone.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. Didn't that also happen in 3 Ninjas? Like, didn't 3 idiots
Three
hang out in the
ninjas,
kitchen?
surf ninjas.
Yeah, yeah. They're 3 idiots hang out in the kitchen and surf ninjas. Like, so hey, you never know. I mean, but I know Prehysteria is one that a lot of people have seen, and Dragon World is another one that a lot of people have seen. Like Beanstalk used to play on TV all the time for some reason. I don't know. Anyway,
And we watched Beanstalk, right? We did Beanstalk.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did. That was an interesting one. Anyway, but Remote. I'm guessing Wikipedia probably doesn't have a plot summary for this one.
It's a pretty long one, actually.
Oh, oh, how funny. Okay, so somebody loved
8 paragraphs long.
Oh wow.
Somebody who has Wikipedia powers is a fan of Remote. It sounds like.
Guess so.
All right. Well, that's
Unless
helpful, 'cause
Charles Band just was typing them all up.
oh, I bet. Yeah, he probably did. He probably. Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. Yeah. Let's just go. Let's just go from there. We'll go along.
Want me to read it?
Oh yeah, sure. I would love that. Thank you.
Right. So Randy Mason is a teenage tech whiz who lives in a suburban neighborhood located somewhere in the state of California with his mother, Marty, who creates designs for an ad agency, and his father, Brent, who's away for the duration of the film on a business trip.
Yeah, we only get about 5 seconds of him.
Yep.
Like the kid shows up at his house and the dad's just leaving. It's like, goodbye, son. And then he's gone from the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Randy designs and uses remote controlled models as a hobby, as well as using the modified controllers for other purposes as well. Among them is a helicopter named Huey. I didn't catch that at all.
I didn't know it was named Huey.
I noticed it once when it was like getting out of range or something, and he said, "Oh, Huey, got almost lost you there, Huey." And I was like, "You named these things, you loser."
Naming all of his toys, or sorry, models.
Yeah, a helicopter named Huey, a double-winged plane, a World War II fighter plane called Zero, red and blue race cars, a green monster truck, a Godzilla knockoff, and a yodeling mountain climber named Gunther.
Which was my favorite thing that he had.
Which looked a little bit like Hitler.
Yeah, it did. It had the Hitler stash.
Yeah, he had like a German, it would like lederhosen. It was, yeah. But that yodeling was hilarious to me. Like it actually did get me chuckling.
Yeah, especially when he was using it to try to be stealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just yodel through every time it was doing something.
Yeah. And the idiots are like in the other room just talking, and it's so loud. It's like the loudest toy.
It's like there's not an off switch for the volume on your remote there.
That remote can do anything but that.
Yeah.
He shares the hobby with his good friend and love interest, Judy Riley, an avid baseball player, and shows her the local model home, which serves as his secret hideout.
The movie kind of starts off kind of the same way as Shrunken Heads, actually. Like with like three friends like encountering bullies. I feel like that happened that's happened in a few movies we watched. Didn't it happen in BMX Bandits? Like within the first like 20 seconds of the movie, the three characters encounter bullies or something. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
A staple of 90s children's movies, I guess.
I guess so.
After Randy pulls a prank on a bully across the street named Ben by using one of his remotes to mess with his TV control, and then uses the helicopter to drop an empty Coke can on Ben's head.
Yeah, the kid's in there trying to watch Bikini Car Wash or whatever. Yeah. And like he keeps changing the channel to like church channel.
Ben steals Randy's fighter plane. Randy reluctantly lets him take it, but tells him the controller is locked at night with the others. So Ben insists he bring it to school the next day to give it to him. Randy does, but brings his own controller to take it back from Ben when he's using it. But the dueling controllers result in a plane accidentally flying into the classroom where Randy's science class is, and after causing chaos among the students, crashes into the project of his friend Jamal.
Huge explosion.
Yeah.
Yes, that was big enough to set off the sprinkler system, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably would have scorched some kids in the front row too.
Probably. It was enormous. I can see why he got expelled.
Yeah.
Fucking menace, Jesus.
Getting the blame for it because no one saw Ben, Randy's expelled from the school and arrives home to hear Marty saying on the answering machine that she heard about what happened and is going to confiscate all of his models. Randy then decides to hide them at the model home until Marty calms down. Judy suggests the best thing to do is to tell the truth about Ben, but Randy also feels responsible for what happened and doesn't further wish to incur Ben's anger.
Ben's mom, by the way, is I don't think we meet her until later, but it's like she's a piece of work.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yep.
She almost felt like she belonged in like the Goonies or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Judy helps him under protest, and she reminds Randy of her baseball game that night. Despite having forgotten about it, he says he'll be there. As Randy is leaving later, he stumbles across 3 store robbers named Delbert McCoy, Louis, and Louis's cousin Richie Marinelli.
Yeah, or Dell for short.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main one. Dell.
Yeah, because he doesn't like being called Delbert.
Oh yeah, that's right. The 3 robbers, having robbed a convenience store but left the money behind by accident, decide to break into and hide in them at the model home until the roadblocks the cops set up for them are cleared away in 3 to 4 days. The ill-tempered Delbert, embarrassed by his real name and insistent on him being called Del, has a gun, which is why they have been labeled on the news as armed and dangerous.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the whole gun thing. Yeah, and I think didn't he try to get the gun from like with that yodeling toy thing?
Yeah,
He tried but couldn't.
Yeah, it didn't have enough power or something.
Yeah, I remember what happened. That was so stupid. That made me mad. I was like, you idiot, like you're letting them know where you are. And also, okay, he was using the remote to pull the thing up, but he was literally sitting right there. He could have just pulled it up himself with his hand.
Yeah.
He didn't need to use the remote control.
Yeah. It also picked up a big ass steak that was probably the same weight as the gun.
Yeah, that steak was huge.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, he steals one of the bad guys' steaks because these guys are so dumb. Okay, they're smart enough to evade the security system, but
Which was so weird.
yeah, but that's like the only smart thing they do because okay, they immediately get there and they start yelling at each other. So they're being loud, they're drawing attention, and then they start cooking food.
Yeah, after going to the store to get said food.
Yeah.
They unwittingly trap Randy in the attic when he hides from them, not knowing he's there, by taking the ladder to the window away after he's climbed up. The robbers use the ladder and packs of cigarettes in order to create a path on the carpet that keeps them from walking on the alarm sensor pads. Which I thought was just going to be like a stupid thing that wasn't actually real. They were just making it up.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
I guess that was the real thing.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. I guess when it comes to these kids movies, like you have to sort of turn your brain off a little bit, which I think is kind of unfair to like I think that's being a little bit uncharitable to the target audience when you do stuff like that. But in this case it actually ended up working out, surprisingly, because the tripwires were an actual threat to the criminals. It wasn't just them being lovable dorks.
And then if he knew that was a thing, why didn't he just drop the fucking anything on the carpet?
Yeah. Strap one of his cars on it would probably set it off.
Oh yeah. And before he was even trapped, he could have rode his bike away, but he just threw his bike and went back into the house.
Yeah. Yeah, that made me mad. I was like, okay. All right, now if anything bad happens to you, it's your fault. Like,
yeah.
You had my sympathies, but okay, now I'm just gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Although then I did start caring about him once, like, the stuff with his girlfriend started happening later on. But you'll get to that. Sorry, sorry for interrupting.
Oh, you're good. Randy attempts to use his helicopter to contact the eccentric real estate agent, Mrs. Williams, who's driving by in her car with a written message, but she doesn't see it, and eventually the helicopter can't keep up with the car. Randy also tries to trip the burglars up by using Gunther to put a tack in Richie's shoe, but he and Lewis just barely avoid stepping on the alarm pads. See, he was right there. Just trip the alarm pads yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That would have made more sense. The kid just wanted to fuck around.
Yeah.
Lost my place. There we go. Randy attempts to steal the gun, but it proves too heavy for Gunther to lift. Getting hungry, Randy uses Gunther to steal Lewis's sirloin steak, and then attempting to steal the can of baked beans. Randy runs into the same problem he did with the gun earlier and is forced to drop the can on Richie's head, which he believes Lewis did.
And then, like, that guy, he eats it off the floor.
Oh, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. All conveniently not where a sensor is either.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? Oh, man.
At her game, Judy gets worried about Randy not being there and calls his house and leaves a message. Marty hears the message when she comes home from work and, not having any idea where Randy is, calls the police. When Marty tells Ben and his mother about Randy disappearing, Ben accidentally reveals a bit more than he should have known, to which his mother declares to Marty that she'll figure out if her son knows more than he's telling on, and drags him away.
Mm. Okay.
After using his bag straps to try climbing out the window and failing, Randy falls asleep at about the same times as the crooks. Marty stays by the phone that night and falls asleep on the couch. Judy and her family get home late from the game and go straight to sleep, not noticing that Marty called earlier and left a message on the machine.
It's a pretty detailed wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap. Like, they cover everything. I don't even have to say anything.
Yeah. Probably one of the more detailed ones we've read.
Yeah, like, this is almost as detailed as what was that Nicolas Cage movie that was like martial arts?
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. It's almost as detailed as that. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What can I say? As I watched this movie,
yeah, I mean, he could have not fallen asleep at the same time and
also
gotten out
would
of
have
there.
helped. That would have helped. Yeah. Dumb kid.
He's a kid. He's got to have energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in that situation, I'm sure adrenaline's pumping, keeping him awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also,
I guess he just
could have just jumped down instead of using the ladder at any point. It's not like it's 3 stories or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they saw him, there was a window right there, and yeah, it wouldn't have been hard for him to just escape.
Yeah. It's a children's movie. Thinking too much about it.
Yeah, exactly. They at least do show it, like the whole part where he's trying to climb out the window, but then they're standing there. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The next morning, when Judy gets up, she notices the message and listens to it. After calling Marty and hearing how worried she is, Judy then sets out on her own to find Randy instead of telling her. And they could have sent the cops or something.
I don't understand that. Like, that she just decided to go all covert op for no reason. They deserve each other.
Yeah. Lewis looks out the window and sees her coming towards the model home and alerts Delbert and Richie. Randy sees her coming too, and then when the crooks take Judy hostage, Randy proceeds to use the remote-controlled toys against them to prevent them from escaping and to rescue Judy.
Yeah, he like suits up too. He like makes a vest out of the remote controls so he
Yeah.
can control them all at once and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. He looks like a kid from like a Nintendo commercial or something. Yeah. I love also that one burglar when he tries to run back inside of the garage in like the most clumsy way possible. He like knocks a bunch of stuff over.
Yeah. Yeah, and these remote controls are like big as your fucking head.
Mhm.
Pretty much.
Which-
I mean,
Yeah, they're freedom sticks.
they can do a lot.
Yeah, apparently they can.
Like one was like preventing the garage door from opening so they couldn't escape in their car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. This isn't so much like Home Alone as it is like Home Alone 3 because of the whole remote control thing. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. So, but this came before Home Alone 3. So Home Alone 3 was a ripoff of
shit.
this.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh man.
After Louis breaks into the attic using a knife to pick the lock, Randy uses the Godzilla model to melt roofing tar in a bucket and dump it on Lewis's head, causing Lewis to fall into the carpet that sets off the alarm.
Yeah, that was a bit sketchy.
Yeah, dangerous. A dangerous toy for some kid to have of a Godzilla that shoots a flamethrower, basically.
Yeah.
And also that tar probably might have done some serious damage to that guy.
Yeah, it could have burned him. Like, I don't know. It's a little worrisome.
Randy then uses the helicopter to sick Mrs. Williams' bulldog, Bluto, onto Richie, and then uses the airplane to tie Richie up with a flag line.
Oh, that bulldog was so cute.
Yeah.
Aw. Like the
Probably
cutest
should have
bulldog.
died because like
Oh no.
I don't want it to, but I'm saying like they fed it hot dogs in a plastic bag
Yeah.
still, so
That's
that's a
true.
choking hazard.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
then Louis fed it a chocolate candy bar. Dogs
Yeah.
can't eat chocolate. What the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, this is a bad movie for kids because it teaches you how to hurt your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, really? It's in a take it out of the bag at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God
that
damn.
sucks.
Cared more about the dog than any of the other characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy disarms Delbert using Gunther, and Judy picks up his gun and throws it away. Delbert angrily makes his way towards Judy, but Randy gets Delbert to step on each of the race cars and uses them as remote controlled roller skates to lead him away. Delbert ends up crashing into rocks and is thrown into the air into a cardboard side for the real estate company. The police arrive and arrest Lewis and Richie, and presumably Delbert as well. Randy is reunited with Marty and Jamal, and Mrs. Williams with Bluto. Randy and Judy quietly agree to find a new secret hideout, and the film ends as Randy lures the yodeling Gunther down from the roof.
And that's all
There
she
you go.
wrote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He takes out the way he takes out Dell too is stupid as hell. He basically puts him on skates of those RC cars.
Yeah. You could see the rubber falling off of the actual skate wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little rough around the edges for sure. So, you know, it was kind of imaginative with the remote stuff. Like, although I don't know, nowadays with like drones and all that stuff, like you could like there's so many better like things you could probably shoot in this way, you know. But some of the flying footage wasn't bad though. Like I didn't really care for the ones where you just see the sky and whatever it is that's flying around. I liked the close-ups more, you know.
Mhm.
I would have preferred more kind of helicopter shots. There were a few of those that were pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah. pretty low budget, but they had some decent expertise.
Yep.
So
That yodeling doll. I was like,
That
oh,
was nice.
this is definitely a Charles Band movie.
yeah, the doll really completed it for me. That doll really won my heart. That was my favorite character in the movie. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Other
remote.
what?
I'll say, yeah, that's remote.
Yeah, it's pretty much about as generic a kids movie as you can imagine. I found it amusing enough to I don't know, it didn't really annoy me, to be honest. I was pretty entertained. I knew pretty much where it was going, but I enjoyed the cheap stupidness of it. Just like the bad editing and stuff. Like I can enjoy stuff like that, like this, pretty easily. So I enjoyed it in the same way I enjoyed Beanstalk, as just a dumb, brainless movie that's mildly amusing. So I personally would give it a 3. So the acting wasn't very good though.
No.
I'll say, like, I was thinking it was going to be like a Home Alone, but with like remote control cars, but it wasn't really, because like for most of the movie, the bad guys didn't even know he was up in the attic. So, and
Yeah.
they weren't chasing him down.
Yeah.
He was just kind of fucking with them unknowingly.
Yeah.
They just thought stupid shit was happening to him, and so I kind of wanted them to like chase him down, but he uses the remotes to defend himself. But that really didn't happen too much until the end, really. But
yeah, it's more like Die Hard.
Yeah, and I'd give it like a 2, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, I gave it a 2 as well.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that bad, but it was generic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely generic. It's one of those posters though you'll never forget. I mean, it's like a kid holding up a remote control. It's like it looks like pretty much a generic 90s movie. Like, oh, you like The Wizard, watch this, even though it's not about video games, but like, it kind of appeals to that sort of sensibility, I guess. Being in control, so to speak. All right. And then now it's your turn, Nick.
All right. I rolled and I got Death Grip. Which I don't know what the title really meant for the movie. It was fairly generic. Like, didn't really mean anything to the plot or anything at all. But
yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that, like, because like the translation of like mort from Latin is death grip, which I guess is kind of what a mortgage is, because it's a constant reminder of your mortality. Maybe the title is supposed to be reflective of that. Like maybe that's like the characters are constantly thinking about the fact they're gonna die. I don't know. It's a stretch, but that's all I got.
Yeah. It is like it's kind of, the genre kind of is like an amalgam of like martial arts, which I was not expecting at all. A heist movie, and they just threw an occult movie in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, it all kind of smushed together.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was surprised by it, pleasantly surprised at least. It starts out with one of those fairly generic, starting, at the end, a dude gets shot, and then one day earlier, basically, we follow the main character, Kenny. He got into some trouble. We don't really know whatever throughout the movie, but we can guess from what we learned throughout the movie. It's probably some thieving. He's like a thief, robber type guy, probably.
I think so.
And he's, he's like a guardian of his older brother. up, and he's like, the PO officer, I guess, says like, if you mess up once more, we're taking him away and stuff. And it had like a lot of like the very first scenes. This is very Mice and Many type vibes with,
Yeah.
because his name was Kenny and like their car's name was George. It's like, wait, what? George and Kenny? What are you doing here? But
Yeah.
the brother's name was Mark though. So, but and so yeah, he's the caretaker of his older brother. He he needs to keep hold of him. Something's wrong. Like apparently, we get a backstory of something happened to their mom. There's an issue with that.
Yeah. It's like it involves like a house fire or something,
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
it's slowly told throughout the movie what happens. Like
Right. That's it.
we first see him have a locket that was given to his mom, which gets taken because they go to a baseball because the brother likes to play baseball, but he's eventually get picked on by a group of thugs that take the locket.
Yeah.
And then there's this really cool, like, and throughout the movie, it's those really nice fight scenes. Like,
Yeah,
there's some
I
really
actually
good
did like the fight scenes a lot. Yeah.
But and for what it's worth, like one of the things that was bad about it, I'll give it, is the acting for almost everyone. The acting was real horrible. But what I've learned is that it was like a stuntman made movie, basically.
Yeah.
So everyone's doing basically their own stunts and martial arts and shit. So that was really cool to see. So that makes up for why the acting was shitty, because it was full of stuntmen.
Yeah, the acting was bad, but at least they didn't have to do a lot of it,
Yeah, and like Mark was probably like the older brother was the best acting in it, and because he wasn't a stuntman, he was just a straight up actor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I thought the brother did a decent job, at least with the physicality aspect.
Yeah, because he was the director and writer as well, and he is a stuntman, so didn't have a lot of lines. He was like a stoic kind of guy too, so he could play that off really well. Sure, yeah. That's one thing I think they should have done, is less lines, have it more like quiet badassery type shit, and you would have not noticed the shitty acting more.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that like the film didn't it didn't have like too much dialogue in it. It did have quite a bit of dialogue in it, but luckily though, like when there were fight scenes and all that stuff, it didn't try having the characters talk to each other or having the people talk to each other as they're beating each other up or anything like that. That would have killed the vibe, I think.
Yeah, fight scenes are great. Again, like there's not like a shaky cam fight scene either. It was definitely put together by stuntmen, martial art movie people. So that was great. Like that scene, like when I was super surprised at that baseball fight scene at the very beginning, I was like, oh shit, this might be a cool movie if they have a lot of these scenes. But it was a dream sequence, like a daydream sequence, which is interesting in general. Like it's kind of dumb usually in general, but this movie kind of did it well.
I agree.
Because almost after that first one, you can kind of tell basically almost every one of the ones that's going to be a dream sequence. But so he doesn't actually beat the shit out of him. He just punches the dude once and lets him take the silver locket just because, mommy issue type stuff. And his brother is allergic to silver because it gives him rashes and shit. So they go back home and stuff. It's nighttime. He gives brother a fork to replace. It's like a silver fork for some reason. Doesn't give him a rash to replace the locket he missed. And he's woken up at the middle of the night because his real job is a caterer. And at this we're at this museum art gallery exhibit. The catering's late for some reason, and then Mark gets a call at the middle of the night, and he has to go in and cover because his boss just is sick with food poisoning apparently. So him and his brother show up to do his job of just catering and stuff.
And that's kind of when you will learn a little bit more about his brother too, and how like he like. So I'm guessing he's like autistic because he seems to have like a thing about like order and like
Yes, he has like he's also like
symmetry.
like savant kind of as well.
Yeah.
He's really good at certain things that we learned very shortly.
Yes.
But like
He's
we
good
see,
at
yeah,
dressing
it's
himself with ties. And stuff.
yeah, that was nice because there was like that one scene where the one of our exhibit dudes isn't wearing a tie and gets scolded by his boss, like, go put that tie on.
Yeah.
and he just has it hanging out while he's coming to meet those two, and then Mark just goes ties it really well for him and then just walks in and locks the door behind him. He does this several times. He like goes in, locks the door behind him, and then they have to knock, get it to open, which is key later on. But even before that is those pictures of is what we get the details of like what happened. Basically what is like, there was a fire. We learned that there was probably a fire that killed their mom because during the catering scene, there's a lawyer that knows the main Kenny dude, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? You've kind of dropped off since your mom died." And then it's a little awkward. And he's like, yeah, okay, well, here's my card. Bye."
I that which when once all the shit starts hitting the fan, I guess it all kind of, in hindsight, it all sort of seems pretty I don't know, it seems like it was kind of like telling us what was going to happen next, but at the time, like, I don't know, while I was watching it, I guess I wasn't really thinking about it very much. So
so yeah, I don't know why or what was going on, but for some reason he and his brother just fell asleep at the exhibit for like no one bothered to wake the caterers up as they were closing down like a multi-million-dollar art exhibit. They just left them in there. It was like Kenny fell asleep in the like one scene was he got pissed off after that interaction with one dream sequence. He got pissed off at the dude and broke a glass in the bathroom, but it was just a dream. And then he fell asleep on the toilet. And Mark fell asleep behind the caterer's little table thing there. Everyone's left except for like the main girl and the main dude of the art exhibit. And they're getting ready to move because the main piece of art was this coin that was apparently one of the 30 silver coins that Judas used or was paid to betray Jesus. And that was and that's what's kind of the whole heisty part was. They start putting in the numbers, beep 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 beep, and you see they each know a number, so there's two numbers they have to put in, and you just see Mark just saying in his sleep the dial tones to it, beep beep beep, as he's sleeping. And then the robbers come in and try and get the number from him because she locks it back up after they come in, but she refuses to give the number away. And then Mark just randomly wakes up, opens it up real quick without even knowing the numbers, just the tones, takes it, and then walks away into the bathroom to wake Mark up. And I loved this bathroom scene too.
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
did too.
So they're in the bathroom, and Kenny, as he was sleeping on the toilet, kind of breaks it. It's like a sensor one, and like they're just fucking with it a bunch because it was like censored and broken and shit. And then they're making a lot of noise, and eventually the bad guys, the robbers, they come in and start a fight and shit with them. Stuff goes all haywire and breaks shit. And
I knew as soon as I saw those stall walls they were getting destroyed.
Oh yeah, they were just like cardboard, like hard cardboard basically. And one thing I learned on the IMDb is like that when he gets pushed into the wall, there's the scene where he just gets kind of like smashed through the wall. It was actually supposed to just be his head like indented into the wall, but it kind of broke through first. So he kind of just improv'd getting pushed all the way through and then came out. So that was pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
and then eventually the coin flies into the toilet of the broken the broken toilet with the sensor all
Yeah.
haywire, and they're kind of standing in front of it. The two, like the robber and Kenny, and Mark is actually kind of to the side, not on the sensor. So the two dudes are slowly fighting because they don't want to set off the sensor and flush the coin. And Mark is slowly inching towards the toilet. So it's a really nice, slow action scene.
Yeah, that was really suspenseful.
Yeah. And like Mark sees a gun that was from the robbers and he's slowly trying to go to it, trying not to set it off. And the other guy's just trying to stop him. And then
They're
Mark
both
eventually,
ripping onto each other, trying to like rip into each other's like skin.
Yeah. And Mark eventually gets the coin and shows them, and then all shit breaks loose again, and action scene, fighting. So that was an awesome fight scene in a bathroom. One of the best bathroom fight scenes there are. Up there with Eastern Promises. I think there's a cool one in the newest or the newer, what was it? Mission Impossible, right? There's a really cool fight one in there. Really sweet bathroom fight scene.
Yeah, that's cool. Van Damme had at least a couple good ones.
Yeah, so they get out because he slashes one of the robbers, like just eyes right out with a piece of glass.
Yeah,
which was nice because he was like baiting him with the cell phone. Like he had his cell phone and it made it look like he was going for it, but on his other hand he had some glass and he just slashed the dude, and that was pretty sweet diversion.
It was.
But anyway, they make it out, and they go to the lawyer. I don't know why at this point they're really caring anymore, the two mains. Like they made it out alive. They should just say, fuck it, let the museum deal with the robbed fucking thing.
Yeah.
But they go to the lawyer. He gives them his like iPhone, and Mark just magically says, "Oh," he like fucks with the phone and says, "Okay, I tracked your phone. Here it is." So because one of the robbers stole Kenny's phone for whatever reason, again, don't know why, just did it.
Yeah.
So
there were a few inexplicable things that happened at this point in the movie that kind of was like, I don't know, felt like just a bunch of things that were cobbled together to sort of force the plot to move forward.
Yeah, and then there's also just some random scene where some lady gets kidnapped by some dudes in robes. And I was like, huh? Why are they wearing robes? What are these guys up to? And who's this lady they're kidnapped? What's going on here? But eventually we do find out.
But I know what you mean. I was like, what the hell is this? Like young Sherlock?
Yeah. Okay, so they go there, they find a gate, they can't get through. And this is where I figured out, oh, Kenny's probably a robber because he pulls out a bag of shit to unlock things. It looks like a bunch of lock picking devices. And he's like going through them, and then Mark is just standing there with the thing unlocked because he has some type of like savant power. His savant type thing is he's able to unlock things. He's a really good lock picker. Just naturally, without any tools at all, he can just unlock handcuffs with just his hands.
Yeah.
And he just does that shit with no problem.
Yeah, even when he gets like locked in like ball and chain, he just is like done.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Mark." And then like it was just like second. It was even seconds before, like before the bad guy was able to leave the room. He was like, "What the hell, man? What the hell?" The only thing that is his weakness is rope. He can't undo ropes and ties and shit. So yeah, they break into the bad guy's plant. We see typical bad dudes doing cocaine, playing that knife game with the hands and the fingers.
Yeah. Somebody gets injured with a knife at one point.
Yeah, just cuts him over, cuts his arm open and shit.
Yeah. He goes, "Ow!"
like an asshole.
I'd be going like,
right. And oh yeah, and they do it with that lady, like the museum lady. She follows them to the place as well and gets captured, but she eventually just stabs a dude in the face with a pen, and it's funny. Like later on, he says, "How am I supposed to get ladies with an asshole on my face?"
So funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that's where we kind of get a backstory to Mark, where we see him actually tied up with rope and shit with the mysterious lady that was tied up.
Yeah.
He apparently it's locked in a mental institution, and he was able to, steal Jello from, whatever, because he's good at unlocking shit, because somebody wanted Jello, who would give him soap, and then he would give the soap to this other guy because he was like, he probably had some like OCD type thing, and so he would give his pills to Mark, and he would just keep doing this cycle over and over until he got caught by the doctor saying, "Don't take these pills. Tell me whenever this guy gives you pills, and I'll give you Jello for it," or whatever. And so he does, and he just explains, like, "I like things in order. They all needed something everyone else needed, and I wanted to put it right." But it's kind of a sad story in the end, because the guy with the pills eventually dies because he wasn't taking the pills, which gets the doctor fired, and the guy that has the Jello just gets pretty fat because he's eating Jello a lot.
Yeah.
And this is where we're kind of introducing the cult shit, because we see him and we see Kenny and the Mark guy going through this bad guy's warehouse, and they see like tapestries with markings and shit, and then we just see a bunch of robed people, and they take out like a dude, like, one of the dream sequences earlier on was he was hiding underneath like a pool table, maybe, because he grabs a pool ball, chucks it, and then does a stormtrooper suit switch and kicks the shit out of people, but in reality it flashes back and he just fucking misses.
Yeah. They do that like that weird jump back and forth thing a few times, like in the second half of the movie, where it like shows something that's like really interesting, and then it shows it again, and then it ends up kind of happening differently.
Yeah, they do it quite well a lot of times, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, most, even like, kind of you get this, you kind of can identify when they're doing it, even during the later half. So
yeah, they make it pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a thinking person's movie, ultimately. So
yeah, so this is where things got a little like, okay, this is totally going to cult territory. Because they're trying to him and the museum lady are trying to save this girl, the girl they kidnapped, and they're in cult robes. They're trying to save her until like the main bad guy of the movie comes in. Name is Torch, and he's trying to do a ritual sacrifice. He puts like the coin on her head, and he's gonna kill her. She's a virgin apparently, because they need to kill virgin blood. He wants to, which I guess takes over, lets him be the main guy. There's Mishtikik,
yeah.
Which he keeps asking the main guy, "Are you him? Because how come you're here and you know all this shit?" And he's like, "I don't know." No, he never says yes or no, but like, this Torch guy is like, the whole thing is he's trying to be the head dude, which is his boss or whatever, Mishtik. Yep. And they're not able to stop the killing of the girl, but I think the sacrifice was ruined because they grabbed the coin and ran and shit.
And don't they didn't they accidentally make that, or no, they didn't accidentally do it. They made the girl who was like in the robe or whatever, or who was there, like cut the lady's throat or something. Like I feel like that's something like that happened.
She didn't know. So like they were the two cultists. They were like hiding their heads while he was
Oh.
about to do it, and he
Yeah.
grabbed the knife by the hand to stop it, but that really wouldn't stop it because he just pulled it. He didn't have to
Yeah.
push down, which would have been stopping it, but he just pulled it, sliced his hand and her throat anyway. So they just booked it because she was dead anyway, and
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, it's him and the girl trying to get away. He gives her the coin and just says, "Run, get out of here. I gotta go save Mark." She gets caught. Eventually, she drops the key or the coin. It's like, oh, I don't have any more, and she gets kind of into a fight with Torch, but unfortunately, she gets she gets injured. It's gonna kill her.
Right, she is mortally wounded, or
yes,
fatally.
That's
wounded.
what I was looking for. Yes. Oh, and the guy with the eyeballs that got slashed came back because he kind of kidnapped the other museum dude, and
The guy
he
with the
comes
eyeballs.
back. Yeah. There's okay, so there's a fight in the dark that's pretty cool with him and the main character and the eyeball dude. It's a pretty nice fight where, I mean, we see what's happening, but it's supposed to be like, it is dark, but it's not the dark. We see clearly what's happening.
The dark.
But the characters don't. So it's a nice fight of just them going missing, fight punches and shit, and eventually the main guy like throws some glass around so he can hear where he's stepping and shit.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool though how it goes like back and forth between like being a thriller and being a martial arts movie.
Yeah. And they get found out too because there's like this remote. I don't know what the fuck they're like, a remote system that his brother has and he has one. So the bad guys take it from him and use it to locate wherever the hell they were hiding. So that's how they found them in that dark room. And that's where Rindy dies. That girl's name was Rindy. She dies. Gives him a nice little kiss before, and she tells him that you have to tell your brother what happened. So there's something more that we don't know, because when Mark was locked up, he reveals to the Virgin lady that he thinks it was his fault that his mom died in the fire because he has a fear of, because the reason why he locks all the doors behind him is because he's scared of ghosts and he doesn't think ghosts can get through locked doors, so he locks all doors behind him. So he's the reason. So he thinks he's the reason his mom died was because he locked his mom in the burning house. But we learn, because eventually Kenny gets caught, that he was fucking with some propellant, I don't know, I forget what he was using. But he basically admits he's the one that actually started the fire. And he tells his brother that it wasn't your fault at all. You had nothing to do with it. It's all my fault.
Right.
There's a nice line that he was told, is that, sometimes people don't know what's good for them, and that's why they need the help. So like, there's a little nice line from Mark to Kenny there.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I like the whole brother dynamic thing.
Yeah.
I like that they're both kind of like, one's taking care of the other, and it's like, I don't know, it's really cool. I've always loved those sorts of hero type pairs. They're like either siblings or like almost like, I don't know, like partners in crime almost type, or like the equivalent of siblings, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not really a pair, it's a mismatched pair, because one is the one who's beating everybody up and stuff,
Yeah.
And the other one is kind of more the brains behind the operation regarding like everything else that's going on, the locks and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. He has a talent.
Yeah.
So now the cult's trying to finish the sacrifice, and they need a virgin, and they realize, oh, Mark is the virgin now. So they go ahead and steal Mark. And I forget exactly how Kenny escapes, but he does.
Yeah.
And then there's that there's another really cool fight scene where he like comes out of like this just random room, and there's just a shit ton of those robed dudes. It's a really cool fight scene with like 20 guys versus him.
Yeah.
And eventually they all dogpile on him and shit, and just start
Yeah.
beating the shit out of him. And then it flips around, and he's like, he comes out, he's like not like the guys get off him, and it's one of the guys.
Yeah.
And turns around, and he's one of the other ones in the hood again, and then just starts beating again. But apparently that's another little dream sequence.
Yeah. In reality, he's getting his ass whooped.
Yeah. And that's one we could tell is happening probably as well. And
yeah.
Eventually he just makes it out of the dog pile and starts beating the shit out of people, and they all just was like, okay, I don't think we can fight him, and they start running off.
Yeah, pretty much. He gets to that point.
Yep. He fights Ass Face and wins.
Yeah.
By just like he just like rips his face off where the hole was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was pretty gruesome. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then this is where we get to the scene basically at the very beginning, is where we see
it's shot.
Yep. Yep. But before that, it's like we see Torch ask him, "Are you Mashiko or Mushakatik?" And he asks you, "Well," and he's like, he tries to one up him, saying, "If I was, you can't kill me without doing the sacrifice." And he has a gun to him, and he just starts walking up to him, and then they get in a pretty cool fight after that. Pretty long, detailed fight and shit. And I was like, "Oh, this is sweet. Oh, shit!" But then it is another dream sequence, which is this one I appreciated because I didn't see this one. Like I could tell you can, and it's kind of obvious the other ones, but this one was actually kind of surprising. It surprised me that it was a dream one. I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually a good switcheroo." Because he kind of does it. He doesn't say that, but he just starts walking towards him and then just gets shot.
Right, which was like, nice. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't expect that either. Even though you see what happened at the beginning of the movie, it's weird that like that the one that you would be able to predict, for some reason you don't. Because the same thing happened to me.
Yeah. So what happens basically in the end, he has a knife from the fight with the asshole face. He got, because he had two knives, he just took one from him after he killed him. And we see throughout the fight of the dream sequence fight basically is that Mark was locked in a cupboard with his weakness, rope. So basically Kenny takes the knife, chucks it, frees Mark. And just about as Kenny's about to die, Mark kills the dude, stabs the bad guy, and they get out all happy go lucky. Good ending right there.
Exactly. Yeah. They walk into the sunset,
and
that's the end of Death Grip.
Yeah.
So I'd say what were your overall thoughts on it?
In the last line too, Mark says like, "Oh, leave my brother alone." It's a really nice one. And then it's ending. Mark gives the coin to the museum dude that was kidnapped, who's like stuck in the car, chained up, and Mark fixes his tie again.
That was funny.
Yeah, and it's a cute little end credits too of them playing baseball.
Yeah.
So
which is nice. Really all they wanted to do at the end of the day was just play baseball. So
yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I was surprised by a Tubi film being that good.
Yeah, because Tubi, they're not all good.
Yeah. Because I mean, this one was well shot. The action was good. I thought the plot was pretty interesting. With the brother dynamic, it being martial arts,
Right.
and then also heist, and then also cult. I was like, okay, well, it makes and it made it made movie sense. This probably would be
Right.
some stupid shit in real life, but pretty straightforward. Not too many like plot holes and stupid shit.
Right.
Acting could be something desired, but considering it was a stuntman made movie, I thought, okay, I'll forgive the acting for all this cool fighting and shit like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit for a Tubi movie.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. See, I'll give it debate. I don't know if I want to give it a whole 4. I think I'd give it a whole 4 stars.
Oh wow. Okay.
Just because I love the action, the fight scenes are really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and I like the brother that was just able to unlock shit, and that was funny shit.
It's interesting to have that kind of character in a movie like this. I always appreciate that. Cool. All right. What about you, Zach?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I did think the acting took a lot more than I wanted it to away.
Yeah.
And the low budget too. But
Right.
fight scenes were
pretty low budget.
Yeah, fight scenes were great.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know, I thought the plot had a little too much going on, but it was still good. But
yeah,
I think I'd give it a 2.5.
All right. Nice.
I think I wasn't in the right mood either.
Yeah.
But I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of somewhere in between because I enjoyed it a lot too. I liked the fight scenes and stuff. I wasn't crazy about the like the look of I mean, I didn't mind the look of the film. It wasn't the look or the lighting. It was more like the type of camera it was. Like it was like one of those cheap digital cameras that like they pretty much did the most that they could with it, but there were times where it was like distractingly cheap looking, which I know that's kind of out, to a certain degree that's out of everybody's control. But I think during those moments, like maybe if they could have like done something about the exposure or something, it wouldn't have been too bad. They didn't distract me that much, but it happened sometimes in the action sequences, and it was always kind of like, ugh. And yeah, like you say, the acting isn't the greatest, but I actually really did enjoy pretty much everything else about this. And again, it's another movie that moved really fast, and I liked it kind of in a Corbin Nash type of way. It was like it kind of felt like it was getting made up as it goes along, but at the same time, it's like you just kind of go with it because it's still fun regardless. Like you still like what's happening, even though it's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 3. I think overall, I quite enjoyed it. I liked all 3 of these movies. I give all 3 of these movies a 3.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, to me, this was a Tubi lottery win. So. Tubi slots.
Nice.
What was that?
I just said nice, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I like what we got with these. So.
Definitely interesting lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very unique or diverse. I mean, yeah, diverse.
Yes, most definitely. I think we should do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make it a regular thing, I think.
Yeah. But not for the next episode, because we have to we're gonna go with a different theme this time. So because now that we've concluded this latest episode of Tubi Roulette, we now next are gonna talk about the films of the recently departed Ray Liotta.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So would you guys like to pick, like choose your picks now, or?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with No Escape.
Okay.
Hopefully it stays on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one looks pretty interesting.
Yeah. Cool. All right. You want me to go next, or do you want to go next?
You can go next.
Okay. By the way, sorry if this was unexpected.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with which one did I say I was gonna go? Oh, yes, I'm gonna go with Turbulence. So that's one I have known about for a long time. I've seen the cover of it.
I've seen the third one, which is pretty awful.
Oh, really?
Wow.
There's a third one? There's a
Yeah.
second
There's a second one.
one? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Turbulence.
So the reason why I had you guys go first, I didn't know. I have two that I want to do, but
Oh, okay.
just one has a more interesting like plot summary, but one has William Dafoe in it. So I was
Oh,
like,
damn.
what do I want, that one, or do I want the other more kind of interesting sounding one?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, but which one do you want to like flip a coin?
No, I think I'm just gonna go with my gut, and
Okay.
it's gonna be the one that does not have William Dafoe in it.
Okay.
It is actually, I'll just go with, have you guys, I'm gonna say Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
don't
seen
think
it.
You haven't,
No.
neither of you seen it?
I've never seen it.
Okay. Then that's the one I'll choose. Is
All right.
Okay.
Cool. So you got Turbulence, you got No Escape, and you got Unforgettable.
All right.
Unforgettable Turbulence. There's no escaping the unforgettable turbulence.
There we go.
Hell
There's
yeah.
the title.
There's the
Yeah.
title.
All right, excellent. Well, until next time, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good one.
See ya.